Good evening. Viewers, in Kerala, Social Democratic Party of India, or SDPI as it's known as, along with Muslim Students Federation or MSF, tonight are offended. Not over governance or lack of governance or failure of governance or any social democratic issue or even an education issue, no. Because a bunch of girls did a play in their school where, as part of the story, a girl performed the azaan. They got so offended with this work of art that they took out morchas, they printed banners, they showed outrage. Now viewers, this play reportedly tells a story of a young girl who dreams of giving the azaan, a call to fellow believers to come and pray. She dreams of doing so just like her father does. So tonight we ask, why are these fundamentalists or patriarchs or organizations or Muslim groups so upset? It is a play, it is a story that is being enacted. Number one, no one is seriously praying or calling out to others to pray at a mosque. This is theatre. Number two, even if they were, even if women had started to ask for that right, is it so outrageous that a woman does so? Time and again, viewers, patriarchs have shown how they refuse to move with times, to let go of the power that they themselves have enjoyed for centuries now. That the very idea of equality of gender scares them. Tonight we ask, do these so-called guardians of religion even believe in freedom of expression and gender justice? So without wasting any more time, let's quickly go across to our panelists. Joining us this evening, Amber Zaidi, social activist; Mahmood Paracha, member, All India Muslim Personal Law Board; Nasir Abdullah, actor; Maulana Abdul Rahman Abid. Now I'm going to go across to Mahmood Paracha and understand from his viewpoint what is so offensive about a script of a play being performed in a school. Mr. Paracha.
I think some people and some institutions are seeing the religion with too much of a constrained viewpoint, which is not fair, especially about a religion like Islam. So they should have an all-inclusive Islamic beliefs, which are actually, as far as my understanding of Islam goes, it is all-inclusive, and women being 50% part of the society, they have equal right to participate. And this woman in a play actually is praising God. I don't know what kind of objection could that be. I mean, that is very, very misogynistic kind of approach, which should not be, which is not actually, as far as my knowledge of Islam goes, is not the principle of, according to the principles of Islam. So I think this kind of mentality has to be changed, and this kind of, it has to have an all-inclusive approach. Unless that happens, I think people are doing, unknowingly or knowingly, more harm to Islam than any benefit to Islam. That is all I can say. And I know there are vested interests who would project this as something very, very intrinsic to Islam, which is absolutely not true. And they will want to create a ruckus that something very, very bad has happened to Islam because of this. Islam is not so weak that this will, even if it is a slight derogation, which I cannot see, Islam is not going to be affected. Then what right do they have to talk about other religions also? So that is a stand. We should not be double standard. And I appeal to all ulemas to sit together and try to carve out a new kind of explanation and a procedure which can be followed unilaterally by both women and men. So this kind of derogatory insinuations which come to Islam, I think that should be taken out of the scene altogether. And we should remember the golden time of Islam was the Middle Ages, so when it was open to everyone.
Yes,
and
well, effectively most religions
the main thing which
started off like that. Down the road somewhere, some group of people decided to interpret it differently, and hence the debate now goes on in every religion. I just want to give some more insights into what this play is and why it is so important. And I think it effectively goes beyond that girl performing the azan in the play. And I'm going to read out what the Newsminute has to say about the story here of this specific play. That it is a humorous portrayal of a Muslim household where the girl who wishes to call out the azan sings and dances with her friends and mischievously at one point even tries to or even steals the fish fry. She says it is not wrong to steal the fish because God will understand that it is because girls are not given the food they desire that they have to steal it. It's obviously a reflection of what still happens perhaps in many households, or how religion is interpreted and implemented in parts of our country. Her father then chastises her, tells her that women should only get half of everything that men do. And that girl mischievously then says, well, if that is the case, should we also wear half the clothes that men do? At some point, from wanting to kill his own daughter in this script, in this story, for even suggesting that she sing the azan, the father comes to terms with it, begins to understand and to see his daughter not just as a woman who is saying something or asking for something, but as his daughter who just wants to follow in his footsteps and wants to pray to the Lord. And I don't understand which part of it is problematic. I can actually see multiple aspects that may anger the fundamentalists. But let me ask Maulana Abid that. Maulana ji, what is the most problematic thing in this play?
See, to be frank and honest, I want to say that, first of all, my name is Ilyas Sharafuddin. Now, coming to the point, Islam believes in equality but not in identicality. And we don't want a Me Too movement like that of Bollywood, Hollywood, media and other places from masjid and madrasas or from other places. Because of that, we want to keep our daughters and sisters safe from all these Me Too movement, whatever is happening in Hollywood, Bollywood and media nowadays. I need not require to elaborate how their modesty is being outraged by the top honkos of the industry.
Ilyas Sharafuddin, the topic of tonight is not the Me Too movement, and I genuinely don't want to know your views on the Me Too movement. My question to you is very specific.
I want to come in.
I just read out the story. No, I don't need you to educate me for anything. Mr. Sharafuddin, my question to you is very simple.
You will be in darkness and you will be keep on speaking against
I haven't come to you seeking for light. You need to let go of that thought that all women need to be educated by you. I don't need to be educated by you. My question to you is very simple. Now please listen to my question. I read out the details of the play.
Okay, fine.
The details of the play were just given to you. Can you explain to me why you think there are certain Muslim groups in Kerala tonight who are so offended with this story? It's a story.
See, the girl is asking why half share than men. The answer is men are taking the responsibility of the complete household and the girl don't have to take responsibility of anyone. Rather, her responsibility as a sister, wife, daughter and mother is on the shoulders of men. Because of that, there is only half share for girls without any responsibility and the double share for men with complete responsibility of the whole household. That is the reason. Now she is asking, can I wear half clothes that of men? What is happening in the world nowadays? America reporting 3 rapes each minute.
She is actually not asking that.
1 rape or gang rape every 7 minutes.
I think the humor is lost on you, and maybe it's also lost on those who are protesting outside with the banners today. She is not asking to wear half the clothes as men do.
Ignorance can do that.
That's a joke. Maybe you don't get jokes. But Amber Zaidi, is that a problem if a girl in a script, in a play, sings the azan? Is that a problem as per the religion?
Because those who don't want to see the truth, it happens with them.
Tanvi, first of all, I would like to say that Islam is a religion of peace, love, justice, equality. And here in the play, as a filmmaker, as a creative person, as an artist, I understand if by a play or by any piece of art, if somebody is trying to portray or trying to spread a message to the society, if somebody is trying to fight for their equality or their rights, what's wrong in that? And in fact, where has it written that a girl cannot perform azan? And in Arab, due to tribal culture, the women were not allowed to perform azan. It was the part of culture. It is not part of religion, Mr. Ilyas Sharfuddin. And you said that you don't want Me Too movement in your masjid. So why don't you lock yourself in your houses rather than women locking inside house? Why don't you get yourself locked?
No, we don't lock them. We allow them in the masjids. We allow them in masjids. Women are having
on the other hand, you are talking about the equality, and other hand, you are locking women in the houses.
Let's not yell at each other. I'm going to request both of you.
Why don't you allow women to go to masjid and lock yourself in the houses?
Let's not yell at each other. Let Amber finish the point.
What kind of the question and argument?
Okay, so now here is the point.
You are no one to allow women.
Firstly, I don't want to sit here and specifically discuss religion. I wanted to discuss freedom of expression and gender equality.
It is about right. It's not about religion. It was part of culture that women were not allowed to go to masjid. And in today's also, women and men perform hajj together and perform namaz together in Masjid al-Haram. Why not in India? They cannot go to masjid and mandir together.
Yes. Mr. Sharfuddin, do you want to respond to that?
We are living in a free country.
If someone is stopping it is against Islam, but not allowed to give azan.
You are stopping. You are making whole story and whole controversy out of a simple play.
Islam is stopping them. We don't allow women in the masjid section, in the male section because
Okay, one minute. Firstly,
your kind of people.
Firstly, Mr. Sharfuddin, do you understand that this is a play? This is not actually a woman sitting with a mic at a mosque calling other people for prayers. She is not actually giving an azan. This is in a play. Secondly, Mr. Mahmood Paracha, is it true that women are not allowed to call to make the azan as per the religion, Mr. Paracha?
It has not written that women cannot perform azan.
Yeah, so that's what Amber says. Mr. Paracha, do you agree? Is it allowed or is it not allowed?
I would want to ask Mr. Ilyas Shirafuddin this question. If a woman is praising Allah, I'm sure he knows what is the meaning of azan. If a woman is praising Allah, do they have a problem?
In fact, in Akamat, in the beginning of namaz, we call out azan.
And a lot of people sing in their houses also azan. I also sing. I also, when I wake up in the morning, I do it.
I don't agree with you.
Where other men will listen to her.
Okay, let's listen.
Attracted to her.
Let's listen to Mr. Sharfuddin's response, and then I want to go across to Nasir Abdullah. Mr. Sharfuddin, you are saying it is a problem if women perform the azan. Why is it a problem?
Praise Allah. Is there a problem?
Praising Allah is a problem.
God Almighty Allah. Women can perform prayers in a separate section in the masjid, but women cannot give the azan in the loudspeaker.
Why?
We don't want her voice to be heard by the non-mahram. That will create problems for her, as it is happening in ashrams, media houses, Hollywood and Bollywood. We don't want that to happen to women.
Are you saying that you don't want non-Muslims to hear the voice of your women?
You don't want Prophet and Sahaba.
Who are you to decide?
You don't want.
Who are you to decide whether the voice of your women should be heard by others or not? You don't own these women. You don't own Muslim women. You don't get to decide for them. Amazing. Okay. I thought, genuinely tonight, I thought, viewers, I would be at least given some half a concrete, logical answer, religious text-wise, as to why there is an objection to women giving the azan, be it in reality or even in theatre. But all we are being told tonight that this is because we do not want our women to be heard by others. So there you go, a bunch of men are going to decide whether their women should be heard or seen by the rest of the world. Nasir Abdullah, is this an attack on freedom of expression?
Yes,
it's a play at the end of the day in a school. And look at the kind of intimidation tactics that are being played out against those little girls who are just trying to make a point about gender equality.
We don't want, in the name of freedom of expression, asarams in our society.
The question is to Mr. Abdullah, please. Nasir, good evening. Can you hear me? Yes.
I have been listening to you. Please keep quiet and let me talk. I don't want to be a part of a dogfight. I hope I make myself clear. Please don't interrupt me. You've had your chance. Can I have mine?
Your industry is
And then I would
already
like
in
to go
dogfight.
home and sleep, if you
You
don't
are
mind,
one of the
sir.
dog over there.
Let me start.
Mr. Ilyas Sharfuddin,
Let me
kindly.
start.
No,
Let
one
me
minute,
start.
Mr. Ilyas Sharfuddin. Firstly, keep a control over your language. I don't know what kind of scholar you are who uses such language. Secondly,
He
either
started
apologize to our other
started that.
panelists right now for using such
he started- he said
ridiculous,
dogfight.
unacceptable
He's not
language.
I don't want an
Dogfight.
apology. I don't
He
want an
started
apology.
the-
I'm going to put
using
your
the
audio
word
down
dogfight.
now, and can
Maulana
you just
Sahab,
hear Nasir
please
Abdullah?
keep
He's not
quiet.
even Maulana, he's just Ilyas Sharfuddin, a so-called self-proclaimed scholar. Yes, Mr. Abdullah, go ahead and finish your point, just hearing you out.
Okay. Right. Okay. Here is the deal, in my opinion. If in a play, a theatrical play, a woman is calling out to God, I do not think, and I think nobody will think, that God will be upset. Why is she calling out for the prayer? So we are actually demeaning God by assuming that he will be angry. At the Sabrimala, they are saying, God, here is a brahmachari and a virgin and all that, so girls from the age of so-and-so should not be allowed. I think what God wants of all Muslims and others, that you need to do the things he has said you need to do. That is to pray, the act of the charity, the act of having to perform Hajj, etc., etc. Now to decide that God doesn't like this and doesn't like that is an ignominy. I don't agree with it, especially if the children are having to perform, and it is a call to God. Nothing wrong is being done, but something wrong is being found out in what is being done, and what is being done is she is actually reciting the azaan, the call for prayer. What is wrong with that? The devil doesn't do it. Let the human beings do it. Where are we going? I am ashamed to hear that such a reaction is happening in the minds of the people who represent Islam. I am deeply disappointed and I feel angry about it. I think it's very unfair. If a woman, a girl, in a play, what is your problem? What is your problem? Who are you to decide?
Absolutely, I completely get your point. In fact, let me take it.
Allah will be angry. Allah will beat her up.
Let me take it to the more details of it. And Mahmood Paracha, I want your views on this. Do you think that at some point people or whatever those handful of groups are getting upset and protesting because there is a larger message in this play, which also talks about, this so-called belief that women should only get half of what men get, and that is as per their kitab. That's the name of the play also, the kitab. Do you think it's because this play in its indirect ways is raising larger questions about gender inequality, which has got more people upset rather than just the azaan part?
Well, maybe it's because of that. Some people may be genuinely interpreting it like that. But there is a larger question also which is happening these days, that is seeking attention and creating a fight where there is none. So I think this topic has to be seriously dealt with by the religious scholars of Islam all over the country, that this kind of activities are stopped, because this will only bring bad name to Islam, and it is not as per prescribed the provisions of Islam. And Mr. Sharafuddin was slightly giving the logic which I can explain, that when there is an Islamic society, there is an entire system which is built. So that is a different thing. But here, to oppress women in the name of Islam, you are doing a disservice to Islam. Rather, you are working against the dictates of Allah and Quran. So don't do that. You are defeating your own cause. And if somebody is committing a mistake, there is always a judgment day for all of us, all who are believers. So if somebody is committing a mistake, he will be judged on the judgment day. You don't become the owner of judgment day here. Don't do that.
Now I have to
And
explain
especially
Quran
when
and
it
the
creates
Hadith.
fights, when it
I have to
shows
explain Quran
the
and the
entire
Hadith.
community in a
I
bad,
have to educate
in
one
bad,
over here
in
regarding
bad.
Quran and
No,
Hadith.
you may be, but what I am saying is also true.
Yes,
No,
Mr.
you
Sharfuddin.
may know more than me
They
about
read the
Quran and the Hadith. But I am
and check
asking
it out.
you,
Based
are
upon
you the owner of
responsibility,
Judgment
the
Day?
rights were given.
Religion.
You cannot have more rights and less responsibilities and vice versa. You need to learn Quran and the Hadith. With great responsibilities come great rights, or with great powers come great responsibilities. You cannot have more power and less responsibility and vice versa.
Mr. Sharafuddin, there is
and
no
we all
absolute
have
bar.
Good and fair knowledge
These are
of Quran and
recommendations.
Hadith.
Okay, one at a
There is
time,
no
please.
absolute bar. If some father wants to give equal half to a daughter, and the brother does not have a problem, what is your problem?
But the share which is talked in the play, the share which
If
they
the
have talked
brother
about in the
also
play,
wants to
women don't
concede
have
his
any
rights, what is your
responsibility,
problem?
and they are taking half
So,
share.
why
They
are
are
you
having
saying that it is
responsibility of
prohibited?
So,
complete
Mr.
house.
Sharfuddin,
They are
Mr.
taking
Sharfuddin,
double
Mr.
share.
Sharfuddin.
More responsibility, more
Okay,
share.
you are
Less
saying
responsibility, less share.
that probably made sense from a time period where men would go out and do the work and do a larger share of work than women did, where women were restricted to everything within the household. And so you say half the share of the man who goes to the war, who goes for wars, who goes to earn a livelihood and all of that. This is 2018. I am not asking you the logic which was practiced hundreds of years ago.
Women can keep their whole income. Women can be businesswomen.
So what is this logic of women getting half the men do?
My mother is an educationist. They
Sure.
can keep their whole wealth with them. The share which they are getting from the father, that we are, or husband we are talking about, there they are getting the half share because they don't have to spend on anyone. The man has to spend on the parents, on the sister, wife, children,
now the women
etc.
are- women
Why the
Because
women who are getting money are not spending it on anyone.
On her own.
The woman is not going to spend it on her children. The woman is not going to
don't
spend it
have
on
to.
her parents.
They don't have to.
Which world are you living
Making
in?
money and
They don't
spending
have to. The
also.
responsibility
Which
lies
world
upon
are
the
you
shoulders.
living in? Exactly my point, Mr. Sharfuddin.
But they
ये
are
कौन से
doing.
जमाने की कहानियां आप हमको सुना रहे? 2018 नया इंडिया है ये.
I
आप
don't
कौन से जमाने
understand.
की
Now
कहानी
the
सुना
entire
रहे हैं?
paradigm has been shifted. And
Ambar Zaidi, please. I'm running out of time, but Ambar Zaidi and last comments from Nasir Zaidi.
1 रुपया खर्चा करने की जरूरत नहीं. उनका हस्बैंड करता
अरे
है
आप-
खर्चा.
आप-
मैं ये कह रहा हूँ.
Lord.
औरतों की
Okay.
जिम्मेदारी
Ambar
नहीं है.
Zaidi,
अरे
please.
भाई
Ambar
आप पता
Zaidi.
नहीं कौन से जमाने में जी रहे हैं. मर्द को जिम्मेदारी दी गई थी, अब औरतें भी
laws
बाहर
that
जा
were
रही हैं, काम कर रही हैं,
prevalent
कमा रही हैं और फैमिलीज पे भी
are
खर्च
not
कर रही हैं.
supposed-
पता नहीं किस जमाने की बात कर रहे हैं. आप बोल रहे हैं क्योंकि वो आधी जिम्मेदारी है, आपको घर संभालने की जिम्मेदारी आधी लगती है. वो पूरे घर की जिम्मेदारियां उठाती है, बाहर भी जाती है, काम भी करती है और घर पे भी खर्चा करती है. उसके बावजूद कह रही है कि क्योंकि उनको आधी जिम्मेदारी इसलिए वो आधा उनको हक मिलता है. पता नहीं कौन से जमाने की बात कर रहे हैं आप. आज औरतें पता नहीं कहां से कहां
और क्या
पहुंच गई हैं
बच्चा-
और आप ओल्ड एजेस बातें कर रहे हैं. यहाँ तक कि इनफैक्ट Quran says that everybody is equal and nobody is unequal in Allah's eyes. You are just forcing your mentality on women. It is not part of Islam. It is
You know,
it was part of
every
the
now
Arabian
and then-
culture and tribal culture. Now the entire paradigm has been shifted and you are still living in that age.
Absolutely. I'm running out of time, but closing comments from Nasir
I'm
Abdullah, and then
explaining
we
that
move
women
on
are more
to the
secure.
second debate as well. Nasir Abdullah, please. Yes.
You know something, there was a time when this was applicable.
Yes.
The women had a restricted amount of the responsibilities, basically bringing up the home and the children and feeding the family, etc. Times have also changed now. We can have a change at a later stage because ultimately the woman can do as much as a man. And that's another story. The fact remains that if it is a play, it's a theatrical play, God does not need our help to dispute all that and to attack that girl for doing that. God is only interested in our ibadat. He does not need our madad. He doesn't need our help. We need to follow our part of the deal. Let God decide what is to become of everybody else. Yes, the Maulana can inform the people, look, this is the way. and wait for them to agree or not. If they don't agree, they may go to hell. Let them go to hell. If they are going to heaven, they will go to heaven. But we cannot decide that, oh my God, God will be so upset. What have you done? It is a very innocent and a childish way to, to deal with it. If she is calling out the namaz, the azaan, what is the problem of the Maulana
you know,
there?
Mr. Abdullah, because you made that point, there is another very interesting aspect, and I'm sorry I'm interrupting you. My apologies for that, but I'm running out of time. And because you made that point about going to hell or heaven, the fact of the matter is, even in this play, there is a point where the little girl says that, if I can't dance, and if I can't sing, and if I can't pray that the way I want to, like my father does and makes the azan, then I'd rather go to hell, because if that's what it means to follow this kind of religion, it makes no sense. This is, in essence, a part of that play, and I think that's very, very important. Every now and then we see this or that fatwa getting issued that women can't ride bikes, women can't dance, women can't publicly sing, they can definitely not sing a bhajan, they can't apply nail polish, they can't go to the parlor, they should never be partying, or they can't give the azan because then the non-Muslims will hear them, and that is not all right. So they must pray within confined walls, not come out, they don't get the same share as men do. All of these things are archaic, historic, designed at a time when men had the power and interpreted religious texts the way they wanted to, because they wanted the society to function in a different way. This is 2018. It doesn't work anymore. This play in a school in Kerala is trying to spread the message of gender equality and justice. And I think it is essential that not only in this school, that we pick up this story, this entire play, and take it all across the country to send across this message to any patriarch, to any fundamentalist who thinks that women are not equal or do not have the power under religion, that no, you are wrong. If a believer wants to pray in a certain way, they should be allowed, whether it's the Sabarimala controversy or this issue. Who are these men to decide what women should do, how they should pray, and how they should practice their religion? We thank our guests for joining us on debate number 1.